Here we go. Time for some Yankee Doodle. What? Greatest song ever written. Not even a little bit, but we're going to reinforce skills we learned yesterday using this tune. And we're going to go over to jollyrogerukulele.com. We're going to post the link to the lesson right now. Paste. That's also where you will pick up your sheet music and our daily schedule and all the delightful stuff that you're going to get good at. Update. And I press update, and then theoretically that's going to magically show up on our website. And it's running real slow today for some reason. Let me post it over here on Twitter, jollyrogerukulele.com. And we're on lesson 16 of the 30 lesson series, so we're about halfway through. And I'm not sure what else to say about it. Tweet that. Okay, so we have tweeted. We can close this down. And then, let's see. Today, obviously Yankee Doodle is the thing. We'll be reinforcing our Brahms lullaby skills from yesterday. In the next class, our upper level class, we've got two arpeggios, which are very challenging. We haven't done that in this class yet, so might want to skip that. And then Ain't She Sweet is a fun Tin Pan Alley tune. So have a good day of music going on here. I'm glad that you are all here. If one of you that is logging in and sitting down to play some music will let me know if the sound is good. I'm going to hear a little bit of white noise because I've got the humidifier is running at the moment. I let the cat in, and all of a sudden all of the humidity turns crazy. So we will close that door and the humidity will catch back up. You know, we do what we can for these cats, and all of a sudden, yeah, whatever. They're in charge, right? Let's see. All right, what time is it? 12:07. We should really get started. How come nobody is telling me they're logged in? Now that it says I got a few people logged in here. Everybody's running late today. Probably fighting the website. The website was being a total brat today. And so we might give them just another minute or two. It looks like it's running for me right at the moment. It's been super slow the last 2 days, and so I'm assuming something at GoDaddy has changed. I've had this in the past, and the website gets a little fussy about letting people do what they need to do. Michelle made it in, though. She's from Rockaway Beach, Oregon. Sound is good, and it's beautiful and sunny up there. Spring has arrived in Oregon. The sound is good. You don't hear the humidifier? Okay. Yeah, in Oregon you have the opposite, right? You need to have a dehumidifier. Linda's here. Sound is good. All right, you guys are here. All right. The website is probably giving you a little bit of a fuss. It's been running super slow. I don't know why. Last 2 days. I am going to call the... Yep, the website was slow. Okay, so it's not just me. It's definitely something that happened down at... and you know, the thing that makes me bananas is I called GoDaddy, and I'm like, man, my website's running slow. And they're like, all right, pay for this. So I paid for that. And then about 6 months later, I called and I said, my website's running slow. And they're like, okay, pay for this. And I said, okay, I'll pay for that. And then I called them the third time, and I said, my website's running slow. And they says, well, it looks like this is the real problem. You didn't need to pay for all that other upgrade stuff. I says, leave the upgrade stuff on. Just fix the issue. So I'm paying for all of this horsepower that I don't really need. I mean, honestly, you know, at the top of the hour, there's, 15, 20 of you that go in, use the website. That's the highest level of it gets to capping out. It's not a heavily used website. It's not, it's not like some of these others where hundreds of people are using them simultaneously. So it makes me crazy that it doesn't work right. Good morning, Rob. 73 and sunny in Texas. Perfect day in Texas. Cold, but let's see. Cold. Oh, the hang gliders are out up on. Those of you guys don't know, in Denver, the west side of town is where the mountains are. Mary lives out in Golden, which is right up next to the mountains. And right up next to the mountains, there's this one mountain where if you're a hang glider and you know what you're doing, you jump off this mountain and you get to hang glide all over Golden. And if you don't know what you're doing, you get to die in the creek that's down there. And so they don't recommend it for beginners by any means. But they've been doing it for years there. It's really fun to go down and sit and watch them come off the cliff. All right, when you bought a ukulele, your first thought was, man, I would really like to know how to play Yankee Doodle. And today is your day. Today is going to be the day. So let's grab Yankee Doodle and let's talk about how it relates to what we were working on yesterday. Yesterday, we started with thinking through Brahms' Lullaby. We're going to have a melody. We're going to have some chords. Sometimes that chord's going to change. We're going to keep, and then we're going to learn both, and then what we're going to do is we're going to keep the melody exactly like it was, but underneath some of those melody notes, we're going to add parts of the chord. So that's what we'll be doing for the rest of your life. And the melodies don't really change. In all of these years, I've changed the melody a handful of times, but really it's very difficult to change a melody successfully because people, that's what's in their head. That's what they know as the song. Now, I can obviously get away with it on songs you've never heard of, but you have heard the song Yankee Doodle, and you would know if the melody is wrong. So the melody doesn't really change. It hardly ever changes. But the chords, we got a little more flexibility on, and we can choose when and how we want to use them. And so we're going to run through this. Those of you on baritone, you're going to have exactly the same piece of music, just in a different key, so you can obviously, as always, listen in. The other thing I need to say is my allergies are going bananas. I've taken a pill, drinking a lot of water. I'm hoping to get through this lesson and the next lesson without being too embarrassing, but I am going to have to blow my nose a couple of times as we go along. It's the cottonwoods. The cottonwoods beat me up for about 6 weeks, and then after that, I'm fine. But apparently today is the first day that the cottonwoods are getting serious. So I'm going to blow my nose from time to time. You will tolerate it, and you will say, "Oh God, you'll say, I'm glad that's not me." All right, now let's take a look at our chords, C, F, and G, right? Yesterday, instead of G, we had G7, but these are there's the difference, and you can hear the difference, right? Here's a G chord, and here's a G7. G7 has a little bit weirder tone in it. There's sort of an unsettling extra note in there that creates a little bit of tension. And so when you're on a G chord, everybody's happy and you can go to a C chord just fine. Sounds beautiful. But when you're on a G7, oh my gosh, I have to get to C. So seventh chords need to be resolved. They are a little more intense and a little bit more unstable. And so seventh chords provide an important role in music and storytelling in that they create a little bit of tension that we can resolve. This song doesn't have any of those, so we're not going to run into those issues. But G chord's a little harder to get on than G7, and so it's one more opportunity for us to practice that. This week, we are really building on your skills in the key of C so that we can get you ready for next week, which is skills in the key of G. In fact, we'll do on Thursday, we're going to do Amazing Grace, which is in G. Now, let's grab your C chord. When we look at a piece of sheet music, the first thing I care about is what's the meter, and it's 4/4. That means there's going to be 4 beats in every measure. I wouldn't overthink that bottom 4. It does represent something, but if I tell you what it represents, your brain starts to melt a little bit. And so just think the top number is what matters, 4, and then you just use your common sense for what everything that's going to happen to you. So let's do 4 beats per measure, and just give me a nice downstrum. 1, 2, ready, play. Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony. Stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni. Yankee Doodle, keep it up. Yankee Doodle, dandy. Mind the music and the step, and with the girl be handy. Okay, now, you probably missed a few chords, right? How come we miss chords? Two main reasons. One, we fall asleep on the chord we're on, right? Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony. shoot, I was supposed to be on G, right? We fall asleep on the current chord. So one way that musicians avoid that is reading ahead. Whatever chord you're on, you're like, all right, I got that chord on. What's the next one? What's the next one? What's the next one? So always be reading at least one chord ahead so that you know what tragedies are about to befall you. The second reason we miss chords is we wait too long to get started putting it on. If you're playing C, you're going to be fine, right? But when you see that G chord coming, you probably need to leave this C in plenty of time to get that G chord on so that you are ready to go. Same thing will happen in baritone. Theirs is a G and a D, but that D chord is pretty hard to put on baritone, and so we want to leave the chord that you are currently doing in plenty of time to get your next chord on. If you're struggling with that, stop strumming so many times for each chord. So let me give you an example. There's supposed to be 4 beats in every measure. What if we just did 1? Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony. I get a little bit more chance of getting that G on. Now it's only 2 beats between po and knee, so you've got to be ready for that. You may even, if you see that coming, you may even have to skip it. Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony. Right? You may have to skip an entire chord to get it on in time. I like having that chord there because it really gives you a chance to strategize about, all right, everything's in 4, but in that one measure, there's 2 chords, and that means every other beat is a different chord, and I got to be ready for that. So always be reading ahead, and then be willing to stop strumming in order to get your next chord on, especially if it's a harder chord. G is the hardest chord you have to learn in the beginning, and you want to leave your current chord in time to get those more complicated chords on. So, a couple of pieces of advice there. Third concept that we're dealing with here, just in terms of what key chords go together. If I take a C and I put it here on my thumb, and then I count over C, D, E, F, and G. You see your other 2 chords are hanging out here on 4 and 5. This is going to become an important thing for singers especially, or those of you who are going to be playing with people who like to sing, is sometimes you have to transpose a song. And we won't talk about transposing in any detail in this class, in this level, but I do want you to start seeing how chords go together. You have a C, F, and G are coming with it. They're going to sound great. It's called 1, 4, 5. It's a system in Western music that works mathematically with almost all of the music. 1, 4, and 5. And so you're going to see that happen over and over and over again in our songs. If we take this little songbook here, A, D, and E7 are the main chords on here. F sharp minor is a unique situation, but A, D, and E7, A, B, C, D, and E, right? So D and E and A are friends, and that will happen throughout our discussion. It's important for me to not only to teach you how to play ukulele, but to teach you how music works a little bit. There's a lot to know, but that's one of those things you think about is, all right, I'm in the key of C, pretty good chance F and G are going to be in that song, and sure enough, in this song, there it is. So those are your chords. Remember, you don't have to do thumb down. You could do down, up, down, up. Let's do just a little bit of it with the index finger, down, and then up with this index. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony. Stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni. Okay, so there's up and down. It feels different than just a thumb down, right? Yankee Doodle or Yankee Doodle. Okay, then you've also got your 4-finger claw, thumb, index, middle, ring on strings 4, 3, 2, and 1. Thumb's going to go down, index, middle, and ring are going to come up, and we'll do those together. 1, 2, ready, play. Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony. Stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni. Yankee Doodle, keep it up. Yankee Doodle, dandy. Mind the music and the step, and with the girls be handy. Okay, so I was just doing every other beat. I was just doing 2 beats per measure and then singing over the missing beat there. So be thoughtful with your right hand that you have choices and you want to take advantage of those. Most of the time when new people are learning ukulele, they just learn one strum and they just beat that thing to death. That's fine in the beginning, but do know you have other choices and you want to be practicing those as you pull out a new song. All right, let's grab our melody. Now, prior to this moment, we've always talked about playing, for the most part, in first position. Index plays the 1s, middle plays the 2, ring plays the 3s, and pinky plays your 4s. But with this song, there's no 1s at all in the beginning, right? So there's some 3s. So I slide my hand up into 3rd position. That's what happens when your index finger's on 3rd position. And that way, look what happens. 3, 4, 5, 6. My pinky ends up over here on 6, and I have a 7, so I'm just going to have to slide that over just a little bit to get that. And it's going to be much more effective than if I'm playing in 3. And then I have that 7. I'm like, oh gosh, I got to jump my pinky all the way down. I'm going to miss it. So let's start in 3rd position. We're going to play in 3rd position for the most part up until the middle of the song. Around end of measure 7 into measure 8, we end up back in 1st position, and so your hand will start to trail back into its home position. Okay, so go to your 3, and here, let's give it a try. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 3, 5, pinky, 7, 3, pinky, 7, ring, 3, other string, first string, 3, 3, 5, 7, 3, slide it down, 2, slide it back up, 3, 3, 5, 7, all the way up to 8, and then back to 7, and then to 5, 3. Now go to 1st position, 2, 3, 0, 2, 3, 3, and keep going, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 2, 3, 3, 0, 3, 1, 0, 3, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 2, 3, 0, 3, 3, 2, 5, 3, 3. Okay, so melody's there. Let's play it through one more time. Again, the real thought process on this piece of music is most of the time I'm playing 1st position. From 7 to the end of the song, I'm in 1st position. But the first 6 measures makes a whole lot of sense to be in 3rd position. That way I'm not stretching my pinky way down there and missing. You'll see when I play more advanced pieces, my pinky's always stretching down there, missing notes, not playing very effectively. Whereas I should just slide up into a higher position and I would be a lot more effective. Okay, let's play the melody one last time from the top. 1, 2, ready, play. Isn't that nice? So your first thought was, well, I don't really know if I need to play Yankee Doodle as a song. We don't care about the song. We don't care about the song. The song is irrelevant. The skill set here is very important. Being able to play a melody from 3rd position and then sliding back into 1st position. Super important. Linda made it back in. Yay, Northern California, 61 and heating up. The sun is out and slight breeze. Nice. Good to have you, Linda. Linda hurt her hand the other day, or the other month, and she's been getting it back in working order to play ukulele. Glad to have you. All right, You know how to play the chords, you know how to play the melody. As we talked yesterday, the melody doesn't change. So if you look at Tough Uke and you compare it to the ukulele melody line, the top note all the way through is always the same as the melody. That will really very, very, very rarely change until you're playing some fairly advanced music. The top note, that highest pitch note, is the one our ears hear as the melody. So we leave that on the top. Then underneath that, and notice on this particular arrangement, every chord, just as with Brahms Lullaby, the first beat of every measure has a chord on it, and in this case a couple of other beats do. So if you look at measure 4, the chord changes, and so I put a chord underneath that. And measure 8, that would be a pretty boring chord, pretty boring measure without a second chord in there. And then as you get further down, there's a few more chords that sneak in underneath there. All I'm doing is taking the chord and writing it down underneath the melody note. Sometimes I can't fit the whole chord in, and then I only use part of the chord. Like if you look at measure 12, the melody is 0-3, but the chord is a C, so I put some zeros under there, and I can't put the whole chord down because that'll mess up the melody. So we just add in some notes underneath there, pulling them off from the chord and writing them underneath the melody. The other thing that happens is, and this is a big moment for you, you're going to use your first official legit bar chord at measure 6. Here's the problem. The melody note's on 8. Okay, so that's your melody note. But the chord is an F way down here, and you can't reach that far. You have to do this to play that. Okay, so that's not possible to put a chord there, unless you can find the same chord, an F chord, further up the neck. And guess what? If you put a bar on 5 and your pinky on 8, that's an F chord. Baritone, that's your C chord. Okay, so we call it the high F. And there are lots of F chords up and down here, lots of C chords, lots of G chords. You will initially learn all of the chords in your open position down here, but you need to know that all of those chords that we learn down here have friends that are exactly the same chord further up the neck, and we will be using those higher up chords sometimes when the melody goes real high up the neck. So that measure 6, 5, 5, 5, 8 is something we'll work on. Bar on 5, pinky on the 8 of the first string, and that's what's going to happen there. Linda says, a fracture of my wrist, you'll find that since I'm older, it's taken 9 weeks so far to heal. Oh, good. I had no idea, Linda, it had been 9 weeks already. My goodness, time gets away on us, doesn't it? The good news, guys, especially those of you of a certain age, this business of the fine motor skills we work on here, really good for your hands. You know, you're building strength and flexibility in your hands, and you know, I'm having arthritis runs pretty strong in my family, and my knuckles are starting to grow just a little bit. That's something that will affect your play and make it more interesting. He doesn't use the word harder as you learn to play, that you may have some things that your hands aren't ready to do, or may never be able to do, depending on how your hands are configured. And then when we find things that we can't really do, we find workarounds. But I do think that this instrument is really good for keeping your hands limber. All right, let's walk through everything on the Yankee Doodle, and then we'll do it on the baritone, and then we'll be done for the day. So first, start with grabbing your 3, and then this chord's a C, so we got 0, 0, 0, 3. Let's play that. Oh, and by the way, it makes sense to still use it in third position, so make your C chord with your index finger. Okay, do that, 0, 0, 0, 3. Then 3, 5, 7. So that's my ring and pinky. Then I got 0, 0, 0, 3 again, strum that. 5, 7, 5, 3. And then I'm bunny hopping my index finger over to this other 3. And then bunny hopping right back, 0, 0, 0, 3. Ring finger, pinky. And then you got 0, 0, 0, 3, a real C chord. And then 0, 2, 3, 2. That's a G chord, okay? 0, and then a 2, and then a 3, and then a 2. So that's going to come up a lot, 0, 2, 3, 2. That's going to come up so much you just will eventually see that and you'll be like, oh, that's a G chord. And of course the sheet music helps you with that. Strum that. Okay. Measure 3. We're still in third position. 0, 0, 0, 3. 5, 7. Here's where that bar comes in. Bar on 5, pinky on 8. Strum that. Change it out for your ring on 7. You're already holding the 5 down with your bar, so just leave that down. And then you're going to slide down, ring finger on 3. There's 0, 2, 3, 2. That's a G chord right there at measure 7. Put your G chord on, strum it. Hit the 3, you're already holding it down. And the 0, you're holding a 2 on that string, so lift up your middle finger to get rid of to make it 0. And then put it right back down to get the 2. And then drop your ring finger, 3rd fret, 1st string, strum that twice. Okay, go over, grab an F chord, 2, 0, 1, 0. And that, again, that's an F chord, 2, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 1, 0, F chord. You'll see that so many times you'll stop thinking about it after a while. Then you gotta get that 2. I'd recommend using your ring finger to hit the 2. Then take it back off to hit the 0. Pinky on the 3. You could use your ring finger there, but I use my pinky. And then a measure 10, 2, 0, 1, 0. That's an F chord. Hit the 2. And then this one for sure you're probably going to want to use your pinky, 2, 0, 1, 3. We did this yesterday. Strum that. Okay, beautiful. Measure 11. We got 0, 0, 3. There's our rest stroke that we learned in Spaghetti Monster. And then hit the 0, open. 3, you're already holding it down. Trade it out for a 1. 0, 0, 0. And then 0, 0, 3. Rest stroke again. Okay. Measure 13. 2, 0, 1, 0. That's an F chord. Strum that. Ring on the 2. Take your ring off to hit the 0. Hit a 3. And then 2, 0, 1, 0 again at measure 14. That's an F chord. Ring finger on the 2, pinky on the 3. Lift him up and get the 0. 0, 2, 3, that's a partial G chord, right? The melody's in charge, so you don't get to play the whole G chord, but you put your G chord on and then do a rest stroke just on those top 3 strings. Use your pinky to get that 3. Now you can play a full G chord, 0, 2, 3, 2. Get your pinky way up to get the 5. You may have to let go of your G chord to reach that far, at least for now. And then 0, 0, 3, 0, 0, 0, 3, 2 C chords. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Let's give it a try. From the top, nice and slow. If you miss something, you know what happens. You didn't miss it, you just chose not to play it, and you move on to the next thing. Okay, from the top. 1, 2, ready, play. that lovely? Okay. Again, the song doesn't matter. Who cares what song it is? But the skill set there is really important because you're going to be using those skills in almost every song that we do going forward. The F chord, the G chord, those C chords, modifications to those shapes, all that's something that you're going to do forever, and it's going to end up sounding absolutely amazing as you get comfortable with it. So that's your job tonight. Work on stick with Brahms Lullaby, stick with Yankee Doodle. We got two really nice songs this week. Yankee Doodle, for those of you, I think all of you are Americans, is not a song we care about, right? We don't care about. We learn it as kids in school, and then you never sing it again. But it's really helpful with getting started up and running with ukulele as in the key of C. This and Brahms Lullaby, I think, are super, super helpful to get you comfortable in the key of C. Let's go grab the baritone version of this, and we'll see how it ends up affecting the tone. And ukulele players, you should also grab the baritone version because we want you to practice your chords. Okay, it's a great chance for you to practice your G chord. Okay. Ukulele, baritone. All right, now let's baritones. Everything's exactly the same. Everything. Okay. Actually, on baritone, I gave you a strum chord every other beat, so you're going to sound really big. Ukulele players, your G chord, we were already working on it. Okay. Your D chord, you're going to take index, middle, and ring, and you're just going to cram everybody into the second fret. That's how you know if your ukulele is big enough, if you can fit all three fingers in the second fret on strings 4, 3, and 2. That's your D chord. And then, of course, you have your C chord down here. Okay, so D chord is probably going to be the one you have to focus and try to remember. Ukulele players, 4 beats per measure. Baritone players, let's play this chord. Let's do this. We'll play it 3 times through, and then we'll call it good. Play chords the first time, melody the second time, tough uke the third time. Each time a little bit slower. Okay, from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yankee Doodle went to town, riding on a pony. Stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni. Yankee Doodle, keep it up. Yankee Doodle. Okay, so there's that. Make same as uke. Then let's play the melody. Again, third position. Ukulele players, you stay on chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. How'd we do? Everybody happy? Okay, you're becoming very Yankee Doodle-ish. This is an old melody that they changed the words on it and became sort of popular during the American Revolution. It was designed to make fun of the Yankees, of course. And then the Yankees, being typical of Americans, you're like, oh, you're going to make fun of us? Well, we'll just adopt the song and we'll make it one of our own. All right. Let's play the tough uke even slower. Ukulele players, you're still on chords. Baritone players, grab and hold on, and let's see if we can make this happen. 1, 2, ready, play. Middle finger up. There. That's it. That's your song. Big takeaways are put the chord on first and see how many notes you happen to be holding down, and then see if how close the shape you're holding is to what's written on the tablature. And for the most part, it'll match up pretty well until you get to more complicated songs. And so, for example, at measure 6 here, if you put your C chord on, it's not at all helpful with what you have to do because the chord is further up the neck. But the rest of the chords, grab that chord, most of the things you're needing to play are already being held down. You may have to modify a finger here or there, but that is what we do in fingerstyle. So, all right, that's it. That's what I know today. As you're working at home on your own, Brahms Lullaby and Yankee Doodle, you cannot spend enough time on them. Play through them a few times. Really try to understand what's going on in all 3 ways of playing: the chords, the melody, and the tough uke. Those of you who are struggling a little with tough uke, keep at it, but also know melody is the one line that's really important. That's the one that you really have to work on that to make sure that's going to go well for you. And I do apologize for my nose. And tomorrow, come with your thinking caps on. Tomorrow we have to do your first arpeggio, and it's going to hurt your head. And it's going to hurt your soul, and you're going to be like, I don't think that I should play ukulele, and I will agree with you, it's that hard. Okay, but you can do it, and we're going to start you on your first arpeggio. It's a big deal, and once we get the first one under your belt, then we just have 29 more of them to do, and then you will be a great, like a stupid great ukulele player. So that's what I got for you today. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. And sounds like most of us have spring moving in, and we're getting ready to do it. And here in Denver, we're going the opposite direction, and so yeah, whatever happens. And we'll have a little bit of winter here for another week or so. And that's it. Have a wonderful day, you guys. I'm gonna punch out. Michelle, Vic, Linda, Rob, Mary, Linda, and of course those of you guys that don't log in, thanks for being here. Remember, for weekends, random act of kindness. If you can, continue to be safe. Get those vaccines in your bodies. You may want to start thinking about setting up a practice space for yourself so that you can have a place to sit down with your ukulele and your sheet music. That's sort of your space. Sort of set up a place in your house so it's easy to get sat down and practice a little bit. Keep showing up here. That's the secret. Those of you who want to play, it's showing up is going to be the key. Hit the like button if you haven't already, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to this channel, if you're logged in, of course. And then as you become more, as this starts to settle in, it's going to make sense to become a member of the Jolly Roger Ukulele website. You might go read some of that and double check that that's makes sense to you. Michelle, Rob, Linda, see you in a few, and thanks everyone. Yeah, thanks guys. Have a wonderful day. I'll see some of you next hour, and I'll see the rest of you tomorrow. Have a great day.